These are the instructions for running the portfolio VaR analysis. On Blackboard, you click on VaR project files and load this file right here. When you load it, it comes up to the instructions. We're going to start with the first instructions, starting on the sheet Efficient Frontier Model. You click on that, and you'll see a file that has at the very top your assumptions. You don't need to make any changes to the assumptions unless you want to add a new asset class, but that's not covered in these instructions. The next area is the actual model itself, starting at A13. This is where you'll be doing most of your, or almost all of your work, and then down at the bottom are the formulas, and you don't need to do anything there unless you're adding another asset class. So the first thing you need to do is set up your client. Some assumption, some person that you're setting up that's come to you for help with asset allocation. Let's just assume someone walks in and tells you they have 60% of their money in large cap US stocks and 40% in fixed income. So starting in cell B15, we'll put that customer in 60%, nothing in small cap, nothing in developed, nothing in emerging, 40% in fixed, and nothing in high yield. You need to make sure whatever you do adds up to 100% in cell B21. That will give you return and a risk. And so what you need to do next is go to the Efficient Frontier output. You'll notice in this file, on this sheet, there's already a lot of analysis already done. What you want to do is go to cell B5 and go all the way down to the end of the data that's available there, and delete everything in the cells. Don't delete the rows, so just highlight the cells and hit the delete key, so you delete everything in those cells all the way over to column I. And then the next thing you do is you go up to B2 and you highlight from B2 through I2. You do Control C to copy. You bring that down to B5, which says current, and in B5 you're going to right click, paste special, values, click OK, and that will set up for your current customer their asset allocation. We're now going to go back to the Efficient Frontier model, and next we're going to do is we're going to put in some constraints. You can see that there are 4 constraints already set up. You need to change these in some way. It's very random and subjective. It's just your opinion, but we're going to say for this customer, the most they want in high yield, let's say, is 15%. The most they want in emerging market stocks, let's say, is 25%. The most that they want their stock portfolio to be allocated non-US stocks, let's say that's 60%. And the minimum they want their stock portfolio to be allocated non-US stocks, let's say, is 25%. And when we run all of that, we're then going to set up a starting target risk. We want to start fairly low risk. The model will generally do 5%, so let's start with 5%. And then go over, and the model solver is actually going to set this up. But we want to give it a starting point, so we'll just pick something randomly. You might do like 20%, 20%, 20%, 20%, 20%, or maybe 10 and 10. Something that adds up to 100% just to give it a starting point. And then you go up to data, click data, and you should have solver as an option. If you don't have solver as an option, you need to add solver. The way you add solver is over on the button, you click on the button, and go down to Excel options, and under Excel options you do add-ins, and just click on it a few times, and then at the bottom when it says add-ins, click go, and then you want to click solver and OK. I've already got it loaded, so I'm not going to do that, but make sure you have solver loaded. Once you have solver loaded, you have your constraints loaded, and you have a starting allocation that's fairly well spread throughout all of them, adds up to 100%. Then go over the solver, and again, it's under data, solver, click on solver, and everything's pretty much set up. You can just look through solver and see what it's doing, but we're maximizing the return by changing the allocation and you have the constraints in place, so we just say solve. And you can see solver running down in the bottom left, and it's trying its best to find the maximum return it can find. This could take a while. The answer comes up and it says it found the solution. That's what you want. You want the word found. If it doesn't say found, then you click OK and run it again. But if it says found, you've done everything you need to do, so click OK. And then we're going to go to the Efficient Frontier output. You'll notice that what's in B2 through IA2 is what you just ran, your 5% risk. So you highlight those, do Control-C to copy. You then come down to the next row after what you did for current. You right-click, you paste special values, click OK. You now have 1 point built on the Efficient Frontier. What we're going to do next is go back to the Efficient Frontier model. We're going to change our risk to the next highest risk. I suggest going by 0.5%, at least for a while. And we'll try running 5.5%. We don't need to change anything else. We go straight to solver, click solve, and wait for it to bring up an answer. It says found, so that's good. We click OK. We go back to the Efficient Frontier output. We highlight that row, the B2 row, Control-C to copy. We bring that down to the next row down. We right click, paste special values, click OK. We now have 2 points on our Efficient Frontier, and if you go to the right on the spreadsheet, you'll notice a graph, and you notice on this graph that the Efficient Frontier is starting to get drawn. It's got your client already set up, but it's starting to run the Efficient Frontier. So that's good. Let's go back to the very top of this sheet, and then all you need to do now is go back to Efficient Frontier model and just run another point, say 6%. Click solver, hit solve. It found the solution. Again, if it says converge, you just click OK and run solver again until you just keep running it until it finally says found. We go back to Efficient Frontier output. We go up to B2, highlight B2 through I2, hit Control-C to copy it, bring it down, right click, paste special values, and click OK. And you'll keep doing that until you fill up this entire section. One thing you can do is actually run the risk of your current portfolio. You can see that your client started with a risk of 1023. One of the points you can run is this point. So you right click on that risk and copy, and go to the Efficient Frontier model, and on your target risk, right click, paste special values, and click OK. And now you can run solver and find the portfolio that has the highest return at your customer's current risk. And you let solver run that. We might get a converge on this, we'll see. Okay, see it says converge, so we click OK. We just run solver again. You can see that it's running. Just try different ones. It says converged again, so you say try it again. Hit solve. There it says found. Now if you get converged many times in a row, you can just finally just keep that point. You'll be able to tell if it's the right answer or not when you finish everything, because your Efficient Frontier chart will not be a good looking curve. So we'll copy this over. Same thing, Control-C, and bring it down. And You don't necessarily have to have them in order. It's best to have them in order, so if you ran some others, you might not want to put this one here. So, and paste special values. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reload the file. On the next video I'll show you, I'm going to reload the file with everything already completed, and so show you what you do after that. But here you can see how you run the different points. You just keep running and then hit obviously save it to make sure you have all this loaded. But the next video will show you what do you do once you complete all of this.